Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. I just don't know what to make of this game. It's a short and sweet indie horror game called Psalm 5, 9 through 13, and I really need your help in order to figure this one out. The only religious reference in this game is its title, Psalm, yes, as in the biblical Book of Psalms, number 5, verses 9 through 13. Now, it's interesting that there's only a 13th verse in this psalm in most of the Catholic editions of the Bible. The Protestant editions, or some of the Catholic editions that are based upon Protestant translations, do not have verse 13. It's only verses 1 through 12. The psalm itself is the same, but the numbering of the verses is different depending on which version of the Bible you pick up. So why the developer made that specific choice, I don't know. But let's take a look at the verses of the psalm that the title refers to. Conduct me, O Lord, in thy justice. Because of my enemies, direct my way in thy sight. For there is no truth in their mouth. Their heart is vain. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They dealt deceitfully with their tongues. Judge them, O God. Let them fall from their devices. According to the multitude of their wickedness, cast them out. For they have provoked thee, O Lord. But let all them be glad that hope in thee. They shall rejoice forever, and thou shalt dwell in them. And all they that love thy name shall glory in thee. For thou wilt bless the just, O Lord. Thou hast crowned us as with a shield of thy goodwill. So keep these words in mind as we now take a look at the game itself. One of the things I like here is that in order to get the menu or start the game, you mouse over the TV here. How many games start this way, huh? Very Visage-like. You don't get a flashlight just yet, unfortunately. What's in the box? So this game has that feature where I'm on a PC, and if you hit the right mouse button, you'll zoom in, and zooming in is necessary in this game in order to progress. So as we'll see here, poor guy just couldn't get ahead. So zooming in on that changes the scenery and opens up this doorway. And here we are. I've heard of planting yourself in a chair, but that's a little much. The Taj Mahal. In this game, sometimes you just have to wander around until something happens like that. I like to read the book titles sometimes. Let's see. Warzone, Politics for Winners, History of Money? The History of Money? Fallen Leaves, Gruesome Men? Or Gruesome Hen? Gruesome Men, I think. Mastering Composites? Oh, Mastering Computers. Physics for beginners, martial arts. But here's what we're really interested in. So here's what I think is going on. We look down at the player character here. We can see he's all cut up and scratched up. And so I think as we watch the telly, the jump scares in this game every single time. My gosh. Okay. I don't do jump scares. So the impression that we get watching the little mini movie here is that this is a bad guy who did bad things. And what's playing on the TV right now is actually sort of a replay of his evil deeds, though it doesn't go into detail at all. It's very suggestive, which is one of the things I like about it. Cabin in the woods, looks like a vehicle being driven. Okay, now it's starting to loop, so we go on to the next.
Today, making him the first to visit in preparation for the 2008 general election. Republican President Jack.
So notice the multiples of 3. 3 threes repeated 3 times. 333, 333, 333. And so I've gone over the significance of the number 3 in a bunch of my other videos. Of course, it's a very important number in Christianity, but in other spiritual traditions as well. You will see such pretty things. Isn't that from Hellraiser? I think that's from Hellraiser. Wicker deck chair. Definitely satanic. So the vintage video cam look, I think, has something to do with the story. I don't think it's just set dressing or an artistic choice. I think it's that this bad guy that we're playing video recorded his evil deeds. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos, watched the channel for a bit, you know that I don't research the developers' intentions or any interviews with the game designers or anything like that before I play a game or do a review, because I want to come to it fresh and use my own experience of the game and share that with all of you. Sometimes after I do a review, I'll go and look up what the developer said about their intentions for the game, but I want to come with it with what am I getting out of this? What are my first initial impressions with nothing influencing that? So what I'm sharing with you now is what I'm getting out of this. I think that the player character is someone who did bad things to people repeatedly, ended lives in a repeated fashion. Gotta be careful what I say, because, you know, it's YouTube. But you get the drift, right? And he videoed his nefarious deeds. And the game that we're playing now is his afterlife experience. And the beasties that we encounter are demons, tormenting him appropriately, because this will be his eternal punishment. Or this is the immediate aftermath of his death, and he's going into the afterlife, and this is sort of like an appetizer, showing him this is what you're going to experience for eternity and why. I'm not sure why the flashlight here in the TV movie focuses on specific things. I don't think that's very clear. Maybe it's supposed to leave everything up to our imagination. Jump scares. But I do have to say, even though I don't like jump scares, this game, I think, does a good job of balancing jump scares with creep factor. Okay, entertainment's over. Now on to the next horror show. You can't sprint. It's not even a jog, it's an exceedingly slow walk, which I find to be kind of tedious. I wish that the walk were a little bit quicker. You can't crouch either, which could be a good or a bad thing. It means that you don't have to hide, but it also means that you can't hide. 4:38, we're going to see that time on another clock in the next area. I don't know if that number has a significance. And here we have this beastie. So again, I think these are demons. And I think that the player character is all scarred up because that is the existence that he's going to have in the afterlife because of his evil deeds. This thing, you're always expecting this thing to move in this part. It never does. But, man, you're always expecting it to. This thing is following us, or rather going ahead of us. These things never attack you, though. This is not a survival horror. Well, there's one part in a bit. It's not like an attack, it's just like a... Well, you'll see. You'll see when we get there. Man, ugh, jump scares. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, this part, we have to leave 3 radios on. This one here, we can't touch. So we have to leave that one on, and then we have to figure out which of these 3 we turn on. So I always just do it at random. I can never remember which ones. Do the magic trick and make this door open. So I think you have to leave this one on and then just play around with which of these two, rather, which two of these four you have going. There we go. This is where we have to just sort of wander around for a while and wait for that can to fall off of the shelf. And then we come back. There we go. So it wants us to go over here and investigate. I just looked at that box because we're going to have to zoom in on that one in order to progress. But I can never remember when. There's a few things happen first. Here we go. Jump scare coming up. Fair warning. And I will jump. It's the sound that gets me every single time. Tell ya. Okay, so here we have two kids' rooms. We have this one, and then there's another one through that door. And we have to arrange a little tea party at this table. And again, this is just a wander around until something else happens. There we go. There we go. Okay, stuffy number 3. And if we go over here, there's a map. It shows you the arrangement of the stuffed animals at the table in order to progress to the next part. We got to put the ducky on the chair on the left here. And here's a box that we need the key to. It looks like a cute, innocent puppy until... Alright, we find Teddy Bear having a bit of a breakdown here. And here's the key to the box in the other room. Where we find the final stuffed animal. I think it's a lamb. There we go. Jump scare coming up. Every single time. Again, I think it's the noise. The sudden noise that gets me. I think if I had it on mute, it might not be so bad. Here we go. And there's nowhere to hide. Now, I gotta say, it's a little much. It goes on a little too long. And I think you have to zoom in on it in order to progress. That is terrifying at first, but I think it goes on too long and it's too in your face. For me, anyway. I like greater subtlety. So... rebuilding the mirror. There we go. That looks like the way out. Will we get there? And here we see our player character and when he sees his true self, as it were, pass out, black out, what have you, the end, right? So that's what makes me think that that character is in hell, or at sort of the vestibule to hell, like he has died, and this is either his permanent afterlife or it is his sort of entry into the afterlife, like an appetizer saying, this is what you're going to be facing. He himself has that appearance because he is a demon. That is what his soul looked like, and so that's his appearance for all eternity. And the monsters in the game are demons that will be tormenting him. So this is what he can expect forever because of his wicked, evil deeds, being a repeat ender of human lives. But now let's switch gears and take another look at Psalm 5 verses 9 through 13 and see if we can figure out why that is the name of this game. So, what does this game have to do with Psalm 5 verses 9 through 13? I think the key might be in verse 10. Let them fall from their devices. According to the multitude of their wickedness, cast them out. For they have provoked thee, O Lord. If the player character is indeed a repeated ender of human life, this verse would apply to him in the sense that he is being punished for his wickedness by being cast out of the presence of God for eternity due to the massively evil deeds that he did during life. But I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for giving my little video some time of your day. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take good care.